Now, we're working on the 1984 Chevrolet K30 Crew Cab 4x4, yada yada. So when I bought this, it had the clearance lights. It's colder than crap out here. My nose is running. And it had these lights on the tailgate. And I thought, yeah, I don't really, I was happy to get the crew cab truck, but all this Mickey Mouse lights and stuff just make it more busy. So I wasn't happy with that. But then I found out that because I took one of these lights off, and there's actually like a professional punched out hole for these lights. I also took the cab light off, and same situation. So I knew that they were a factory option, which I can deal with. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so the wires come through that grommet down there, and then go into that hole. And there's also a ground wire down there, so that you see that wire coming out of that tailgate there. So then you go underneath, and somewhere in this truck's life, the wires have been clipped. So that plugs in right up there, and the wires come down. I'm going to take a little carburetor cleaner and see what, I'm presuming one of those wires is possibly white and one of those wires is possibly black. But, people have spray painted underneath here. And so anyway, I'm going to take some carb cleaner. I'm going to strip the wires on the ends. I'm going to see which wire has power coming to it. And then we're going to hook these lights back up. And I believe that, because I've done a little bit of investigation, they still sell these exact same lights, because I just got done seeing them. And we'll see what the bulb is, and we'll see if they are functioning and getting power coming to them. All right, be back in a second. Okay. So, if you take your tailgate strap, which goes into that oblong round, or it's got one flat side, two flat sides on it that coincide with the strap. If you pull the tailgate down holding it and then bend it up like that, it'll come off of that post on both sides. And then you lay 2 towels underneath there so as to not damage your tailgate paint. Okay, so that little strap was attached on there, and this was going up inside there with a little wire loom plastic holder. And obviously you have your self-tapping screw that the factory put in there, which would not come out because it's rusty and rotted. So I took a punch, and not a punch, but a chisel, and basically chiseled that out of there, which was very easy, and it didn't do necessarily any damage to the hole. So I'm going to stick another screw in there. I'm going to wire wheel the little bracket. I'm going to find another little wire loom that I possibly have in my stash, and then I'll be right back. Also, the wire is black underneath there, and the other wire is brown, which makes sense because when you wire up your trailer wiring plug, the brown wire is your running lights. Anyway, okay, so I didn't have a little plastic wire loom thing, so I actually found this little rubber grommet bumper. So I forced that into the hole and then ran the wire through it. And we are going to connect those 2 wires, seeing if there's power first to the other wire. Okay, I could not do this with one hand, obviously. So I have the test light grounded over here, and then I've got the probe hooked up to the brown wire. So we know that we have power. I just need to put the ends on the end of the wires. I forgot to say that you have your light switch turned on when you go to test your brown wire. So we've taken all of these lights off and all of these lenses off. Actually, the light is this, the whole thing, the piece. So this slips down into your light plastic bracket, and then the one prong goes into the ground, which is that round hole right there that goes over to the mounting screw and grounds. The other is the brown wire that we have tested that has come up through the tailgate, through the body, and into the tailgate and up. So, upon further investigation, after I got all these lights out, and what is you're going to need is an impact screwdriver, because the screws are rusted and rotted and don't want to come out. And you need to apply a lot of pressure and hit it with a hammer before you even start. Also, something that's handy is this little that little thingamajig that is flexible and then has the claw that you operate with your hand. Some needle nose, those are handy. So basically, there's a plastic strip that runs from the first light all the way down to the last light. And that had, I don't know how that's attached inside there, but that had, whatever attaches it broke off. So that plastic strip was laying down inside the tailgate in this region. And pretty much all of the ground straps and the wires had come off of the lights. Either the ground strap was broke off, or the light power prong was broke off. So obviously I got one wire out. And if you pull the tailgate handle out, you can get your hand up in here. So I put a couple sockets on either side of the latch, so the latch doesn't. What are we looking at here? Jesus. Pull it in, and then put a socket in there to keep it held in there. You can reach up in there, and you can get a hold of that plastic wire loom and push it up into place. Well, somewhat into place. And then you should be able to see a wire back there, and then just start pulling them through. So you get the first one pulled through, and obviously the plastic thing is now, it's solid, so it's there. You just need to find the wire and use your grasping tool or your needle nose, or however you need to do it to get that wire through there. So all the wires are pretty long, except for the second one. So I'm going to fashion, so whatever held that plastic thing in place is gone. So I'm going to fashion some sort of little clip, probably out of baling wire, that holds onto the wire and then comes through and then has two arms maybe, and holds it in place, because you have a recess in the light. So these lights are currently available. They're Truck Light Model 15 lights. You can either just get the lights, or you can get the base and the lights. And they still have the black. They look exactly the same as these lights, and they're fairly inexpensive. I'll put a few links at the end of this that show what lights you're supposed to be buying, or lenses, or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to order the lights, and we are going to be back in action. Like I said before, it's very cold out here, and probably not speaking very well. Okay, so the top clearance lights, all of those work. So you have your two screws, and they're actually whatever you call that, star screws. So take those two out, and you've got your rubber gasket. And if I can get my hand out of the way, and then you've got the wires that come up, and they actually run from the fuse box along the door sill and up the center post and then over. And it looks like that's a brown wire. I believe one brown wire comes across over here, and then there's another ground wire grounding each one of these lights, possibly. But yeah, so if you're having issue with those, and you can tell that these are factory, because who the hell's going to make that nice of a hole? And it's painted around there. So anyway, all right, another successful, well, I don't know if it's successful or not, but we found power, and we have power up to the lights. We just need to replace these crusty and rotted lights, and then we'll have beautiful tailgate lights. Anyway, thanks for watching.